Hey, all you wanderlusters and hometown heroes. This is Remain, Rome, Return, a podcast that pits your hometown lifestyle against the allure of far-off frontiers. In the show, we are going to try to settle the age-old debate on whether it is better to be the local legend or the one that got away.
And we are your host. I am Christian.
And I am Damien.
And together, we are going to spend each episode trying to discover which lifestyle truly is best. Is it better to stay close to the roots that raised you, or to fly away into the unknown?
Yep, and during these conversations, we will be discussing personal experiences and asking guests for their input to decide once and for all whether it is better to remain, roam, or return. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Remain, Roam, Return. I am miserably hungover right now.
And I ran a half marathon this morning and also mowed the grass before. So like
wow,
the contrast of both of us.
What, you think you're better than me?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
I think the listeners have established that.
Let's take a poll. Let's take a poll right now. Hey, I'm Pardon here. Anyways, that's my New York accent because we have a really, really awesome guest today, and I couldn't think of a better segue than just to do a New York accent.
A terrible New York accent. But, well, let's let our guest be the judge of that.
Ronny Pascale is here with us today. Welcome
Hello.
to the show, buddy. First and foremost, I'm going to ask you the hard-hitting questions. What do you think of my impressions?
Okay, let's hear it again. Let me just say, I'm walking here.
I'm walking here.
I think it's okay. I think, I don't even want to, it's not even a funny take, but everyone like ruins the context of that, because when he's like walking across the street in the movie, he's like, he's not saying it from like this place of power, he's saying it from this place of sadness, because he almost gets hit by a car, right? And so...
He wanted to get hit by the car?
Yeah, I think he wanted to get hit by a car. I think he wants to die in Midnight Cowboy. So like, go back to the actual question. I would rate it like a 5. It's a little cartoony, but...
That's great. I'll take a 5.
Yeah. Ronnie, we're going to have to discuss this. You can't give him an inch because he'll
no
take a
validation.
mile.
Okay, I mean
No
a 2.
validation.
It's
I'll
a
take-
2.
There we go.
I'll take any extra inches you got.
I think, like, for me, it's also hard, though, because I grew up in New Haven, Connecticut, which is the halfway point between Boston and Connecticut, or in Boston and New York City. And so our accent is this, like, unfortunate mix of both of them.
Oh, no.
And I, like,
Hold on, let me try
desperately
that one.
Yeah, try. Let's see what you got.
I'm walking to park my car.
I'm walking to Dunkin' Donuts here. Say that.
I'm walking to Dunkin' Donuts.
All right, that's actually, like, passable.
Hey, all right.
You sound like one of my uncles, who I try real hard to not sound like.
I'm someone's uncle, if that matters.
Yes, it does.
Is that a qualify? Does that qualify me?
Uncle Damien.
That, I guess that is interesting being like right in between because you were talking about Dunkin', but also like bodega. So I feel like those two come to a head of is a bodega or Dunkin' better?
Ooh,
Oh,
great
it's
question.
always bodega for me.
Yes.
I'm gonna lose all my New England credit right now. I truly hate Dunkin' Donuts with a passion.
Really? Because ever since we met you, all you're talking about is Dunkin'. I thought it was your favorite.
Well, the funny thing is, my brother sent this text 3 minutes ago, not knowing that, and it says, "Does Dunkin' have a dickheads only bathroom?" And so I think like we like hate like Dunkin' because it's just so available, but it's not good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Here's a question. Where would you put Dunkin's Donuts versus Krispy Kreme?
That's tough. I mean, I don't know if you guys know that this is something I did not know ahead of moving to LA. As LA is like the capital of donuts, and there's all of these like mom and pop donut shops. So I think both of those are very low, and then it's all the mom and pop stuff up top.
Yeah, I would agree with that ever since moving to LA. So I guess let's get into the whole theme of the podcast.
I want my donut take though.
Oh, great. Here we go.
I want to know.
Everybody knows Christian's a donut hole, man.
No, actually, no. So I will say I'm more of a mom and pop place, except if I very specifically want a Krispy Kreme like glazed donut because they're so different than everything else. I was just having this discussion with my wife too. Like McDonald's cheeseburgers are terrible cheeseburgers, but if you very particularly want a McDonald's cheeseburger, there's nothing else that compares to it.
Yeah. No, it's like genetically perfect.
Yes.
It's been modified for 60 years, and it's just,
It tastes exactly the same as it did like 2 decades ago when I was like a small child.
Yeah, I taste the 90s in it.
Yeah.
They're actually still using the patties from the 90s circulation, actually.
You know what? That's fine. I could taste the vintage. It's a good year.
Yeah.
It's like you eat your burger and you get like, 1997, very good year.
Take a big bite. Mick nostalgia. That is excellent. Anyways, yeah, I was going to say, ever since moving to LA, Ronnie and I are still fairly new to the LA scene. I got here about 7-ish years ago. How about you?
Yeah, I moved here in 2017. Fun fact that I don't talk about too much is when I moved here, I took a train cross country to get here.
No way.
You took the
Yeah, I took like 7 different Amtraks to get here because my brain was like, that's going to be so romantic. Like, not like necessarily like smooch romantic, but just like something about seeing the country. And it's, guys, spoiler alert, the complete opposite of romantic.
I saw a guy get stabbed.
Yeah, I didn't fear that so much. The thing you don't think about, guys, is this. When you're on that train cross country, how do you take a shower? How do you do it, huh? Do you guys know?
Don't
With
they
a water
have,
bottle?
Depends how good. I recently watched a YouTube video about a guy who took a train from Miami all the way to Washington.
Washington State? Oof.
Yeah, like Bellingham, like the most north. He wanted to go from the most southern to northern part, but he went fancy and got like his own little broom thing. Did you do that, or did you just do a seat?
I did a seat.
Oh no!
God.
The price difference is $1,000. If I remember correctly, it was something like $1,300 for a room or $200 for a seat, and so I did not have access to a shower, so I put hand sanitizer on paper towels, and that's how I cleaned myself for 6 to 5 days. It was maybe the most romantic thing I've ever done. But I hated LA so much after getting here, and I think it's because that.
It just put a damper on the whole thing.
Yeah. You were like, 4-hour flight versus a 7-day trip on a train.
Yeah, and everyone...
Was it solely the romance that sold you on that?
I was in my read Jack Kerouac phase, and so it was just really like, on the road, guys. I'm going to meet all the coolest people. And no, I did not. I met the
you find out
people.
The type of people who take that train are not the nicest or coolest people.
Yeah, and I think like right before I left, one of my fellow comedian friends bullied me a little bit, and she said, "What, you can't afford an airplane?" And I had to be like, I don't know, little known fact that airplane and a train cross country costs the same amount. So it wasn't even like a money thing. It just was like, I'm going to experience the country. It's the worst way to do it. Brilliant. Don't do it.
Well, you could have done a Greyhound.
Yeah,
the megabus.
That I think would have somehow been so much more worse.
But when I tour now, I tour a little bit, and I do take a Greyhound, but they're only like 2 and 3 hour Greyhounds, so it's not like the worst thing.
How are the people on a Greyhound bus?
They don't talk to you nearly as much as they do on a train. So on the Amtrak, when I was coming here, there was a million people that wanted to talk to me, but also let me know how. There was a guy who was sitting next to me, and I don't know why, because I didn't talk to him at all, but he wanted to let me know how awful, and he called me a liberal queer many times. And I was like, what about me is giving that off to you? Like, we haven't talked about politics at all. We haven't talked at all. And when we got to Austin, Texas, he woke me up, and he's like, you're going to like this town because you're a liberal queer. And that phrase has stuck in my head forever.
Yes.
That's the name of your first special.
Yeah, liberal queer. Which, like, growing up, that was an insult, and now that's a positive, I guess.
Yeah.
So what did, you're from Connecticut originally, and then you moved to New York?
Yeah, so I grew up in New Haven. I spent the first 19 or 20 years of my life there. And then for college, I picked a college in New York called Berkeley College. They have an acceptance rate, I'm not exaggerating, of 99.7%. Imagine being that one person who they're just like, so, unfortunately, you're not getting into Berkeley College.
You get so excited, I regret to inform you. Not again!
That was my safety school!
I think it's the one where like the check didn't clear. That's why you didn't get accepted.
Yeah, Berkeley. I moved there because when I was a kid, I wanted to move to New York because like there's nothing fun about being from New Haven, Connecticut, except we have good pizza.
Okay.
Yeah, which is a thing that it's only been recently discovered by like outside of New Haven.
Yeah.
But yeah, I moved to New York when I was like 19 or 20 to like do college, but I was so afraid. You know, I didn't even actually move to New York. I was taking the train from New Haven to New York City for the first like 6 months.
Oh, wow.
Because don't a lot of people work in the city but live in New Haven, like, and just commute, like you were talking about? Like when I think of New Haven, I think of people who don't want to live in New York City but have to work in New York City.
Yeah, and it's like 2 hours each way, so you're doing 4 hours at least to travel every single day, and it's expensive to do. It's like $600 a month if you want that monthly pass.
Cool.
What'd you go to school for?
I dropped out back then.
Hey, right on.
But I'm in college now, but that's a stupid separate story.
So I think I've heard of this Berkeley College, not to get mistaken with, there is Cal Berkeley, which is also actually a fantastic school. And then in Boston, Berkeley School of Music.
Yeah, we're the number 3 Berkeley.
Which is the like another like place. And then there's this Berkeley, which I think plays off their name being Berkeley. And it gets people who want to be like comedian and actors, I feel, is the play. Like it's because it's kind of an art school, right?
No, it's a business school.
Oh,
interesting.
Yeah, so they teach like finance and business management, but they like open and shut down a lot of locations often. So they do play off the name because like Berkeley and Boston is like top tier music school, right? And Berkeley and San Francisco area, or like Berkeley, California is for smart people. Berkeley College, not for smart people. And then when I transferred recently, I was like, I started doing real college. I'm at Cal State now. And,
nice.
And I was like, can you not look at my Berkeley transcript? Like, it can't be that bad. My GPA was a 1.2. So
I've heard of so much worse.
1 point so GPA, because that was me in high school.
Yeah. We're crushing it, guys. We're doing real good right now.
There's a reason we're podcasting right now.
Yeah.
Speak for yourselves. I have a doctorate.
Christian's a lawyer.
Not a lawyer, but I have my law degree. And I decide to do this.
So are you telling me that... So I'm about to have my sociology BA. Should I become a lawyer after that, or is it wasting my time?
It depends what you want. If you want to keep doing comedy, it's wasting your time, because you get this thing of, I'm really in debt from all of this, and I wish I could do comedy, but now I have bills to pay. And
plus, there's no riffing in the courtroom.
There is not. No riffing. No.
Except for when you go to court for running a red light and your judge makes a shitty joke. I seem to remember something about you having that experience somewhat recently. Is that right, Ronny?
I did, and I wasn't sure if you knew that, so I wasn't sure if that's what you were talking about. I was like, I got a story for you guys.
No, that's a segue.
Yes, segue. The worst part about living in LA is having to drive everywhere, if you guys could very much vouch for. And I don't talk about this a whole lot online, but my day job during the summer is I do foam parties for little kids.
Cool.
So it's like little drunken frat toddlers is basically. And so I was going to one of my gigs about a year ago.
Don't spike the punch.
Yeah.
That's how you get a court case.
It's like a 2 juice minimum. and I'm driving my Kia Soul in Beverly Hills. And for those who don't know, Beverly Hills has traffic cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
And if it's like a 25 and you're going 27, it looks like paparazzi are taking pictures of you, and you're like trying to look pretty for the camera. And I went through, so I was driving in the middle lane, and then this Mini Cooper swerves into me, almost hitting me, and so I slow down, and then this Porsche gets behind me and drives very like up my butt, and I'm driving through the red light, and then pictures taken, and I was like and then so the fun detail is they send you a picture of your face of like it's the moment you know you fucked up. You're just like, and so there's all these like cars around me, and you see like Lexus, Lamborghini, Porsches, and then my Kia Soul, and I was just like, I feel targeted right now.
And then you look at the camera, and it's capturing everybody's faces in those cars, looking at yours and just vomiting. Yeah, because they're like, "What is that? A Kia?" Ugh.
They're like, "I thought Beverly Hills. A law against that in Beverly Hills." I like. You know that show Beverly Hillbillies? I felt like one of those in that moment.
Yes.
Actually, you think the ticket was for running a red light. It was actually for driving a Kia Soul.
It was.
They're like,
100%.
Yeah, that's not allowed. That's against our city ordinance. So you get fined for that.
I'm actually going to superimpose that picture that they captured of you.
Oh
One,
God,
because it'll show the look on your face, which is funny. But two, I just want to point out, when I first saw that picture, I legitimately thought you were Lil Kev from Always Sunny. You look exactly like him in that picture.
Oh my God, I got another person to add to my list of doppelgangers.
Yes, dude. Tune in right here. I'm putting it right here.
So,
but yeah. Can you tell us about the court appearance for that? Because I got to tell you, I was very, very, like, putting my hands up, because you actually went to court for it. Most people wouldn't.
I did.
No.
How
much was the ticket?
The ticket was for, I think it was 400 or 500. I forget it.
Okay.
It was either 400 or
500.
Enough
online.
where it's worth going to court versus like, so when I lived in Iowa, we had those on the interstate where if you sped, they took your picture and whatnot, but they made it like $80 where it was like, it's not worth fighting actually going to court and like taking time off of work to go deal with. And they play that so well. See, the problem is that $500, that's rent.
But see, in Beverly Hills, $500 is $80.
Yeah, it's about the same kind of and so the night before I was like debating. So the thing that I didn't know you could do is you could push it off forever. Like you could keep pushing it off, but then they finally are like, no, you need to come to court right now or else. And so I pushed it off for almost a year, and yeah, it was good. And then like a month ago, I was like, oh no, I have to go to court tomorrow. And I'm sitting right where I'm sitting, and my girlfriend is in the other room. And I say, hey, I'm just going to pay it. It'll be tough, but whatever. And she goes, no, you're going to court tomorrow. I don't know why whenever I talk about my girlfriend, I give her this voice right here. And she's like, stop telling people I sound like this.
You're going to court, sweetheart.
You're going to court. You're going to fight this like a man.
You're going to talk to that judge. You're going to tell him no.
She's just the like lady from Beetlejuice.
Yeah, smoking through her little
trach
hole.
She actually is very lovely. Yelena, I'm very sorry. Please do not be mad at me. Shout out. And so I was like, you know what? Fuck it. We're going to go to court tomorrow. I get to court, and for just painting a picture, Christian will know this maybe if you're a lawyer. When you get to court, it's not like a one-on-one thing like I thought it was going to be. There's like 20 people in the courtroom, and 19 of us had a traffic violation, and one of us did not. They start going around the room, and they point to this one Italian guy. He had a really Italian accent, could barely speak English, and then his interpreter told this story. This is unrelated to the story, but it's just very funny to me. They were like, what are you doing here? And he was fishing on the Santa Monica Pier, and he didn't catch anything that day. So as he's walking off the pier, a man hands him this small lobster and gave it like as a consolation prize. But as he's walking off the pier, the like wildlife people are there to like measure the lobster and give him a $2,000 fine for catching a little baby lobster and not throwing it
It's a
back.
goddamn sting operation.
Yeah.
They set him up.
They're
They
like
set
out
me
to get
up.
him. They set me up.
It's just a lobster that was given to me.
I am innocent. That guy was the Luigi Mangione of lobsters.
He just goes back and shoots that guy.
And the judge
Lobster
was
cartel.
like, yeah, the judge was like, you need to plead not guilty because this is a bigger fine. She said, and I quote, "This fine is bigger than the best lobster dinner you're going to have in LA." And so they go around the room, and everyone's, like, pleading guilty. They're all like, how do you plead? How do you plead? And everyone's just like, yes, I ran a red light. And then I was like, I'm not guilty when they got to me. Oh, I forgot one part. Before we got to the traffic portion of court, the judge told a joke that was so bad.
This is the part that killed me.
This part, the judge goes, hey, before I start my proceedings, does anyone know what a California roll is? And everyone raised their hand. And, like, for those who don't know, a California roll is just, like, the way we go through red lights. And she goes, do you know the only time when a California roll is acceptable? And no one knows. Everyone thinks it's a real question. And she goes, when you're out for a sushi dinner, honey.
See, that me being a Midwesterner and only
That's a good bit.
being in LA, I thought of the sushi. Like, when I hear California roll, I was like, oh yeah, like, not actual sushi, right?
Because raw fish is yucky.
Yeah. So I was like, this judge is, like, my type of person. Mm-hmm. And then I'm last. Everyone goes before me. I'm last. I say not guilty. And then I'm trying to, like, plead my case, but she doesn't want to hear me at all. Because she has a little computer next to her with the video on it.
Okay.
And she's watching all of it happen. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, but Your Honor, I'm not guilty because the Mini Cooper almost hit me. And she goes, shh, 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 shh. And it felt like this, like, sexy mom, like, shh, honey, don't talk.
Lowers her glasses.
Yeah, lowers her glasses. Looks, there's steam behind her. And she's
adjusts her powdered wig.
Oh my god, I love that. That's the best version of her.
Yes.
And so she, like, pulls me over. She's like, come sit next to me. We're going to watch the video together. And we watch
this
frame
judge
by
fucking
frame.
rules, by the way, dude.
Oh my god, after I'll tell you how we know she rules. But we watched the video together. And then she goes, okay, you're not guilty, but not for the reason you think you are. And I was like, oh, because I thought the Mini Cooper swerving into me and me slowing down was the problem. And she goes, no, if you hit your brakes, the Porsche behind you would have crushed you. But she kept on calling it something. I think she called it the Mazda behind me. And I didn't want to correct her and be like, that's a Porsche, not a Mazda.
Yeah.
I would have braked if it was a Mazda, but since it was a Porsche, my insurance couldn't handle that.
Yeah. So, yeah, she was like, and then I'm not kidding you, when she goes, now court adjourned, instead of hitting a little gavel, she took out a big gavel, like a prop gavel, that was bigger than this, but I can't fit it in my camera.
Gallagher with watermelons?
Yeah, she was Gallagher with watermelon, and she goes, court adjourned, and boinked.
It just goes...
Yeah, I was like, oh my god, this is my person. And then I went home and Googled her because I was just like, you know how there's, like, when you go to college, there's, like, ratemyprofessor.com or whatever? There is a similar thing, like, Rate My Judge. And I wanted to know more about her. And all I could find about her were some news articles. And she presided over... Lindsay Lohan got arrested for drunk driving, like, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Hell yes.
And she was the judge who presided over initially, and then got dismissed from the case because she was too jokey.
Yes, dude. I love this judge.
Yeah, so she's my new favorite person. Shout out to you, Judge. I forget your last name.
And that judge was Judge Judy.
I was about to say, she sounds like the YouTube judges. Like, there's that old judge who's always on YouTube, like, being like, oh, no, like, black person who got caught, like, crossing the street and got jaywalking, and then they found a little weed on him. They're like, oh, yeah, that was racial profiling. We're going to throw this case out, kind of judge.
Yeah. Well,
That's so funny.
I don't talk about this a whole lot, but speaking of judges on TV on YouTube, a few years ago they had me as a defendant on a court case, and I got cast as an actor where I had to make up a court case.
Oh my god! You got to write? Did you get writing credits for that?
No, we didn't get writing credits for it, but we definitely improvised a strong character that the judge was so annoyed by us that she dismissed our case because I don't think the judge knows that it's all fake.
Oh shit! That's a great reality show.
Yeah, it was insane.
Another great judge show, if you haven't watched it yet, is Miss Pat Settles It.
No, I don't. I'm writing this one down.
She is so goddamn funny. Miss Pat is a very, very funny stand-up comedian from Georgia, and she just got her own court proceeding show where she's the judge, and it's like real cases, but she has no law degree. She's a felon. Like she has no backing as a judge, but she gets to just decide.
Like
it's so funny.
Like what allows that? Like that can't be real. Like
I think because you sign the documents stating like you have to do what she says.
I think at that point it's more mediation than actual court then, because I think most people can be a mediator. Like you don't necessarily have to have a law degree to be a mediator. Just you're like, yep, whatever I say.
Just pure unbiased opinions.
If I remember correctly, I think the thing that we signed said that if this is a real court thing, that we're settling it now. So like before you go, it settles, and then so what you're seeing on TV is just theater.
Oh,
I like that.
Spoiler alert.
So there's already a decision made, and now you're just rehashing old things. It's like a marriage.
Yeah, and then they also pay you, like they pay to settle it. So if you're like suing for $500, they pay the plaintiff the $500, and then they do the TV episode.
Interesting. That's fun. I want to go on one of those.
Actually, that's probably better, because if you do take things to small claims court, like you have to pay to take it to like a court fee. So by doing this, you eliminate the court fee.
That's true. And you get to be on TV. Yeah.
So how did you find out about this role, or like
on a casting website and
backstage.com?
Yeah, it was either Backstage or Casting Networks, don't remember which. And you like they audition you, they bring you into a Zoom, they're like, talk about yourself a little bit, and then they like just stick you on a TV show. And they weirdly, I don't think they knew this, but they put me and another comedian who I was already friends with together. So we spent 8 hours riffing.
Hell yeah, dude.
In like a little green room, and then we got to go talk about it on air. And then when the episode came out, they gave us fake names, and everyone was like, do you two actually hate each other? Or like, do you see that our names aren't even our real names? It's dumb. It's real dumb.
I keep trying to get cast on stuff through Backstage, and then I realized why I wasn't getting any callbacks.
What's that?
Because I was actually applying to backdoor.com.
Bazinga.
Oh, Bazinga.
Shout out. Callback. We have an episode called Bazinga.
I saw that in your Instagram.
Anyways, all right. That was a good riff. That was like 30 minutes of riff. That's
Sorry, I riff a lot.
No, that's never apologize for Tokyo riffing.
riff. I'm still so sad. Me and Damien. So I come out to LA every so often to visit Damien, because Damien won't.
You came out, liberal queer.
Pretty much what it is. Living in Lincoln. Now Lincoln's pretty good. I live in a cool neighborhood. Like I like live in Nebraska, which is, fairly red state, but like I live in this very progressive neighborhood, and so like everybody has pride flags out, which is pretty cool. But yeah, it's so for Nebraska, yes, I am those words.
Sorry. Anyways, you were saying you were coming out to LA, I think, and I
interrupted. Yes, you did it very rudely. But we keep forgetting to make our own tour of going to the sites of the Tokyo, or not the sites of Tokyo, but the sites of the Fast and Furious films.
We got to do that.
Make our own little one. Charge
Ronny,
people.
when we do that, can we borrow your Kia Soul?
No, because it got stolen.
The Kia boys strike again.
Oh my god. My god.
Well, I definitely want to but the car I had when I came out to visit from the rental car place, I was just like, whatever, like cheap, like just let me have a car. It was a Kia Soul.
Of course it was.
So sad for you. Oh.
We got to hear about this. Where was it parked when it got stolen?
Oh my god, it breaks my heart. This is trauma right now. So if I start crying, please cut that out. No, just kidding. You could keep it in. One of my side gigs is I'm a production assistant for things, and
Nice.
Oh,
that
nice.
yeah. So I was working the Spirit Awards, which is unrelated to the car theft, and I got home that Saturday night. And then the Sunday morning, I got home like Saturday night at midnight. Sunday morning, my car was parked right in front of my house. And I went to go leave, and my car was missing. And my girlfriend was walking the dog at the same time. And
She's like, yes, your car's missing, honey.
she didn't even notice. She goes, "Where's your car?" And I said, "I don't know. I parked right here." And then I'm going to actually do her real voice. She's like, "Well, I think you parked it in a place that you don't remember." And I was like, no, I was sober when I got home.
I was blackout when I got home at 11 a.m.
Blackout drunk. The car parked up that tree right there is mine. And we went to the police station and reported it missing. And the cop, the first thing he says is, "Before you say anything else, I'm guessing right now it was a Kia Soul." Yep. And I was like, "What does that even mean?" And he goes, "Bro, you're part of the Kia Challenge." And I was like, "Tell me more." I don't know if you guys know this, but there's a TikTok challenge for people to steal Kia Souls.
The Kia Boys.
Yeah, Kia Boys struck hard.
Yep.
Yeah,
go for it.
No, I was gonna say because it's the video shows allegedly how to do it. Like literally, you just need like a end of a USB to like plug into where you put your key, and like so all you need is like a screwdriver and a like USB cable to get into it, which I'm pretty sure is what the Kia Soul key is. At least that's what they gave to me when I got it from the rental car place.
Essentially, yeah. The reason I know about the Kia Boys is because my sister's husband had his Kia Soul stolen right out of their garage.
Oh my god, mine was
Just
parked, so
broke into their garage, took his Kia Soul, drove it around, and just parked it on a street about 6 miles away.
Yeah, mine was about 10 miles away when they found it, and then when we did find it, it was like filled in trash. I was like, it somehow
That's
looks
a lot of
better.
trash for 10 hours.
Yeah, it was like there was like boxing gloves and bongs. They put floor mats down in the car. That was like from a local dispensary, and I don't know. You guys know that scene in Godfather when Sonny is killed and they bring Don Vito to see Sonny's body, and they're like, "My boy, my boy." That is how I felt when they made me like identify the body of my Kia Soul. And I was just like, "Oh."
I never understood when people steal cars. It's literally for a couple hours.
Yeah.
Like you don't. That's just yours now. You can easily get away with this.
Kind of, yeah. My guess is that they were in my neighborhood, like partying on a Saturday night. We're like, "Ah, shit, we don't have a way home," and so they were just like, "How do we steal a Kia Soul?" And they watched a YouTube video, and we're like, "That's the easy one. Target that guy."
They just park it right outside their own house.
Probably. The cops never told me.
Yeah.
I have no idea who stole my car.
So did you get it back then, or is it like an evidence, or?
Oh, they stole my catalytic converter.
Oh, yep.
It was the second time my catalytic converter was stolen in 2 months. So they got
Who's
a
getting
fresh
under a Kia Soul to steal it? Like, are they like jacking it up real quick and then sliding it?
The thing that I don't understand is like catalytic converters, brand new, are only like $1,500.
Yeah,
so they're not that much money.
They're good scrap value though.
Okay,
Yeah. And you get them for free, so it's like 100% profit.
That's true too. Maybe we should get in the business of stealing Kia Souls.
I mean, I'm familiar with sawing one off with a saw. I did that because stealing catalytic converters was very, very popular when I got my AE86 back in Omaha, my little drift car. And it was getting so popular to steal those things that I just got under my car and sawed off my catalytic converter. What I didn't understand is the catalytic converter is what keeps the fumes out of your car. So boy. I'm driving around Omaha, Nebraska in the dead of winter with my windows up, just passing out at the wheel.
Oh, oof.
And also in Nebraska, like we don't care about the environment, so like
Yeah.
no emissions test. So you can really get around without a Cadillac converter forever.
Yeah.
Cadillac converter, catalytic
Yep.
converter.
A Cadillac.
That's the Rolls Royce of converters.
Yep.
Well, like even to tie these two stories together, when my first catalytic converter got stolen, I had a clogged catalytic converter. And fun fact, if you try to drive with a clogged one, your car goes very slow. So the reason I went through the red light very slowly, it says how fast you are. I was going 12 miles an hour when I went through the red light because my car couldn't go up the hill and the single hill in Beverly Hills. It couldn't go up.
Oh my god, that's the greatest thing I've ever heard.
Ugh, it breaks my heart.
Oh my god. Speaking of heart, let's go to the heart of your childhood real fast.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up in Connecticut, what was the name of the actual town?
West Haven, Connecticut.
West Haven. Okay. Now, I've never heard of that.
No
What
one
is it
has.
like? Yeah. What is it like growing up there? Because you were there until you're like, you said 19?
Yeah, I moved away for college.
Okay. So what was it like growing up? I mean, neighborhood friends, what did you do for fun?
So, my stepfather owned a pizza place, and so
Hell yes.
everyone in my neighborhood called me Pizza Boy, or they called me Max and Mary's son.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pizza Ronnie would be my nickname for you.
That's good. Well, someone jokingly called my stepfather Pizza Daddy recently, and to me, that's the funniest name ever.
That is.
I like
Pizza
that.
Daddy.
That's the name of your new special.
Yeah, I wish I was the Pizza Daddy.
Or it could be pepperoni.
Oh my god, that's good.
Oh, give yourself a round of applause.
Do you guys want to get? So I have curly hair, and my name was Ronald. Do you want to guess what I was bullied as a child? Curly-haired Ronald. What we got? What's your guess, Damien?
Oh man, something Ronald McDonald.
Okay, Christian, what's your guess?
That was gonna be my guess as well.
I was Ronald McDumbass.
That's not even creative.
Shout out to my bully, Alan.
Shout out to my boy, Idiot Face.
I recently Googled my high school bully, and because Facebook was like, you should be friends with him.
Yeah,
and
Of course.
I went on his Facebook, and I was like, oh, he hasn't posted. He was posting a lot, and then abruptly stopped like 5 years ago. And then I was like, what is up with this? And he's been dead for 5 years, guys. So
Oh, gee, I was gonna say jail.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say jail as well.
that's what I thought. And then I was like, oh no, he's dead. He's gone.
So one of my favorite. Do you remember back in the day when trolling wasn't the most annoying thing on the face of the earth?
Yeah, it was like nice.
It was just
trolling.
like normal. You're like, cool, I like this. This is fun.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things to do back in the day on the good old Facebook was go and find your bullies from school and reach out to them as if they were never mean to you. And just be like, dude, what is up, man? I've been thinking about you a lot. I was thinking, what if we like went and got pizza at Ronnie's Pizza, pepperonis, and just pretend like nothing happened. It is the funniest thing to see them backpedal because it's like, 10, 15 years
Yeah.
or whatever. And they're like, wasn't this guy just a piece of shit? Like, I hated this guy. Why is he reaching out to me? I definitely wasn't mean enough to this kid.
That's so funny. Has it worked? Like,
No, they generally don't respond. But just the thought of them getting that message is enough to satiate me for a little while.
well, even on that same token, I wanted to DM the guy who bullied me, the dead guy, and just say, I forgive you.
Then you implicate yourself in his death.
Yeah.
See, I feel like you guys went to like two like suburby white of schools to have like there wasn't bullies in my school because we were like too diverse.
My high school was very diverse. I looked it up. It was 1/3 Latino, 1/3 black, and 1/3 white. So it was very diverse in a big school, but still got bullied. Only the white guys bullied me, though. That's got to be telling in some way, right?
I went to Millard West. I think there was 5% of the population that was anything other than white.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that sounds very white.
Out of like thousands of kids.
Yeah, we had 1,000. We had a couple thousand.
Yeah.
West Haven's
That
boring.
That was crazy. Anyway, speaking of only white people, Connecticut.
Yes,
So,
Connecticut. That is the stereotype, apparently.
Would you say that you grew up in like a suburb of New York City?
Yeah.
Or not?
I mean, I could sneak onto the train, and when I was like 12, 13 years old, I would be like sneaking to New York regularly just to walk around Times Square, which, if you know New York, not the thing to do, but
yeah.
I was just like, I'm out of the house.
Center of culture, Times Square. You got Bubblegum Shrimp, the Olive Garden.
And mascots of like
Yes.
Elmos and
Tickle me.
They're Elmo's because they can't get the copyright infringement.
Elmo.
Elmode.
Oh shit! I just got Elmoed again.
But like Connecticut is so yesterday I realized how waspy like the like stereotype of Connecticut is, because my girlfriend and I were at the farmers market in, oh my god, I forget, like the Grove. I don't know if you know, in LA.
Yeah.
And they have a farmers
Like in
market.
Anaheim?
No, it's in like West LA. I'm forgetting.
The other Grove.
But anyway, that doesn't even. But like, there's a fish place. We were getting like fish tacos, and they had a lobster roll called the Connecticut.
Ooh,
And
there you
I
go.
was just like, oh my god, the stereotype is we're very waspy.
Yeah.
But we're mostly not.
Those lobsters better have been on the correct size, or they're
Ooh,
Subject
not
to
an
a fee.
Italian guy just screaming at the lobster.
that lobster has a trust fund.
Yeah. So how did it compare to lobster rolls from Connecticut? Did you try it?
No, because I have there are some things that should only be the place you get them. Like tacos should only be like from a food cart here.
Yeah.
Hot dogs should only be from a food cart. I don't know. And then New Haven style pizza is growing in like popularity now. So much so that in North Hollywood there is a New Haven style pizza place. And I'm just like, this is a New Haven style pizza.
What?
Yeah.
What is New Haven style?
It's like thin and burnt, and it's got like a different flavor to the mozzarella.
Oh, okay.
It's good, but
I want to try that.
yeah, in the last like 20 years, like all these like food bloggers discovered it and are like, New Haven's the place to be.
I actually have a
for pizza.
question. I have a question about lobster rolls now.
Great. I'm the expert on lobster rolls, so
I
shoot.
figured that's actually why I brought you on here.
Yes.
So
Ronnie,
lobster,
the lobster
rolls.
roll.
Lobster man.
The lobster roll king. So when you're ordering a lobster roll, do you expect a hot lobster roll or a cold lobster roll?
Oh, I'm hot all day long.
Thank you. With hot lobster, right?
Yeah. Why, Christian, do you disagree with that?
No, I'm for that.
No,
I'm
I think
actually-
that's all three of us.
Okay.
But
Now we all
But
need
also, don't ask me about lobster. I was 31 when I finally had lobster. That's how poor Midwest I grew up, and it was at a Red Lobster.
Ooh, fancy.
fancy.
Yeah.
No, the reason I asked is because almost everywhere that I go and I see a lobster roll on the menu, it's like lobster salad. It's cold lobster salad.
Ooh.
Like it's just mayo and lobster in a bun. I don't want
It's
that.
like tuna salad, but like it went to college.
But there is one place that I've seen so far anywhere in LA that serves the proper lobster roll, and that place is The Dive.
Oh,
Ooh, I don't know.
The
this
Dive
place.
in Rosemead.
Got it.
No,
Putting
not
this on my
Rosemead. Temple
list.
City. Temple City.
Temple City. Got it.
Yeah.
I'm going that way on Monday, so.
Oh, hell yeah.
Or Tuesday.
Yeah, don't miss out on that. It's one of the best restaurants in LA in general, but they serve a hot lobster roll, and it is to die for.
Well, I took a picture of what the Connecticut is, and it's lobster with dill and hot butter on a brioche.
ooh.
Beautiful. Love that.
Mamma mia.
So is that...
Also,
Not
wait,
Italian.
Does LA does the Pacific Ocean have lobsters in LA? Like this guy could catch a lobster?
I could actually answer that because my father-in-law told me the answer to this the other day. Russian guy, and he's like, Ronny, there are no good lobsters in LA because the water is too warm. The only good lobsters in I'm going to stop doing that accent. The only good
No,
lobsters.
keep it going. I finally have a fellow accent buddy.
Ronny,
God.
the only good lobster in America is in Alaska.
Oh,
Okay, that actually
I would
makes sense.
check out.
Yeah, he's like, the water's gotta be cold.
I would assume Boston has good lobster,
Yeah, the whole
but maybe
Northeast
not.
does.
Yeah, it's no.
Yeah,
See, but I like to think with the lobster though, like someone had to die to get my lobster. That's how you know it's good.
it's a kamikaze mission now. What the fuck are you talking about?
No, because the fishing up in Alaska because the ocean's so rough up there. Like, but it also has
Oh.
the best fish.
Gotcha.
Is like the deadliest catch. You know that
Yeah.
show.
But like
That
on
went
that
right over
same
my head.
on that same token, that's why I like shopping at Walmart, because like, you know that show Ice Road Truckers, and I need to know that my toiletries came through an ice road from an ice road trucker. That's the worst joke I ever wrote. Cross that out.
Keep it in.
Yeah, that's staying
was
in the
great.
set forever.
Oh my god. Okay, so did you actually live in New York before you moved to LA, or was it just
Yeah.
a stopping point?
No, I lived in New York City from 2011 until 2017,
Oh, wow.
and then went back for 1 year because I was in LA for 6 months before I was like, I hate this place, and then went back to New York. And yeah, New York is fun. I lived in Manhattan for the first couple of
Wow,
years,
nice.
and then I moved to Jersey City, the height of culture, guys. And then I moved to
Bridge and tunnel.
yeah, I was a bridge and tunnel boy right here. And then I moved back to Brooklyn for a few
Oh.
years.
Nice.
And so
Was that mostly to pursue comedy?
yeah, I had no business doing this, but I was just like, I was like 26. I was tired. I did the very quintessential thing in New England, and I worked at Stop and Shop. If you don't know, that's like the 2 jobs you get growing. 3 jobs you could get are work at Stop and Shop, work at Dunkin' Donuts, or work at a gas station. And so I worked at Stop and Shop. They didn't give me a promotion that I was really they were like, you're a shoo-in, you're getting this promotion, you're going to have like job security for the rest of your life. I didn't get it. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to move to New York. And the fun like little detail was I would do comedy over the microphone, over the loudspeaker in Stop and Shop. I would do voices.
Hell yeah.
They weren't good. And then no one ever yelled at me though, except one manager one day pulled me aside and he's like, I think you need to go to New York and take improv classes to get your sillies out.
There you go. That's actually really good advice.
That actually is.
And I was like, thank you. I would do this bit, and I don't know why, but on the loudspeaker at Stop and Shop, I would pretend to be an old lady who fell down a well. And I'd be like, hello? Hello? Can anybody hear me? I'm an old lady stuck at the bottom of a well. So dumb. And so I moved to New York to do improv based on that character.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you
How did
sign
that-
up for classes then?
Yeah, I do you guys know the People's Improv Theater in New
Yep.
York, the Pit? So I signed up for classes there because I wanted to go to UCB, and they were very expensive, and it was
Yep.
harder to get an internship. Where at the Pit, I got an internship immediately and never paid physical money for a class.
Wow,
Great.
That's because like I think the problem with UCB, it is so well known that like that's the first one people would probably try to go to because it's produced so many people from it as well.
That one of
Yeah.
the groundlings are, I would assume, are the top 2, right?
Yeah,
And
Groundlings you have to
City.
audition to get into.
Mm.
For
Yeah.
UCB, you could just be like, hello, I'm here. I'm ready to do it.
I have money.
I
Isn't
have-
sometimes the joke like it's like the trust fund kids one?
Yeah. It always is just trust fund kids. Like, 'cause
Yeah.
that's like $500 to take an improv class.
Well, those are the only people who can pay to essentially not have real life ambition.
Yeah.
Like,
Like,
that's,
I don't
that's
have to
what
have a
that
job
is.
to do that.
Mhm.
Exactly. Everybody else is scraping by. They don't have $500 to go be silly on stage.
No. And like my first year or so of living in New York, I was working at Stop and Shop because they let me transfer from Connecticut Stop and Shop to New York Stop and Shop. I would work there until I think it was 6 a.m. to like 2 or 3 p.m. I would go home, I'd take a nap, and then I would intern at the theater from like 5 or 6 p.m. until like 1 a.m. And then go home and sleep for like 3 or 4 hours. And that was all. That was for a year.
Wow.
And then doing that on, I'm not exaggerating, when I first moved to New York, I made $200 a week. My rent was $150 a week cash.
Wow.
Yeah, I paid weekly.
In Manhattan?
In Manhattan, in Washington Heights, so it's like the north corner.
Mm-hmm.
It's still very cheap to live there.
Yeah.
I had to slide $150 cash a week under my landlord's door.
I
in
love
a marked
that.
envelope.
Did you have roommates then? How was it so cheap?
Yeah, it's like a boarding house essentially.
Oh, gotcha.
And so there was like 5 bedrooms, 1 shared bathroom, 1 shared kitchen. But I had my own like space, so I didn't care.
Nice.
And I didn't
That's
care
awesome.
that I had bed bugs. I had bed bugs for like 6 months, and I was just like, I don't care. I'm doing it, guys. This is the dream.
This is what you have to go through to make it, right?
Yeah.
You can make it there. You can make it anywhere. That's what Mike Bird said.
And then I did this thing that I figured out like the cost of like per calorie what the cheapest food was. And it's how poor I was. And I was eating a pound of trail mix a day because that was the cheapest per calorie.
I think I have done that before.
Ugh, never again.
I would do canned chicken and canned black beans.
Oh, beans, yeah. Rice and beans was one of my staple, where I'd be like, this I can actually eat every day. Because after a bit, the trail mix, you're like, this is too much.
So much sugar.
So when you were in New York, were you strictly doing improv, or were you running around doing sets too?
I didn't start doing stand-up until 2019. So the first 8 years was improv. I hated doing improv, but I thought it was like the means to like the next step, if you will. And and then at the end of 2019, I was like, I wanted to do stand-up, and I lied to one of my friends who did improv and stand-up, and she had a show called My First Time where people just told the story about their virginity loss. And I was like, I could do that. I don't need to like be good at stand-up. And I didn't tell. I was like, I've been doing stand-up for a long time. Can I do your show? And she's like, of course. And then so the first time I did stand-up was telling the story of my virginity loss.
That's excellent.
And I didn't tell anyone there that it was my first time doing stand-up for real.
You lost your real stand-up virginity at the same time.
So my cherry juice was all over that stage.
Oh, gross. It's all over the mic. Sorry, it's a little slippery.
Gotta clean this off first.
So timeline-wise, you were in LA at this point, correct?
No, this was in New York. That was 2019. I didn't get... Oh, I had moved back from...
Okay.
So
that's right.
Sorry. Throwing the timeline off. So New York was 2011 to 2017, and then LA was 2017 and half of 2018, and then back to New York just in time for lockdown and stand-up starting.
Oh, okay. Yeah. What made you move out to LA the first time then?
Both times were because my 2 best friends had moved here, and they just kind of like gave me an easy... They said to me, and this stuck both times, they're like, you could stay with us for free rent as long as you help us with the foam party business. So,
great.
Yeah, I was foam party guy and free rent.
Wait, so are you essentially doing stand-up mostly full-time and then doing side gigs, or is stand-up still the side gig now?
Stand-up's still the side gig.
Okay.
While I try to, I do background acting, I do the foam parties. What else? And then anything else that pops up, I do theater tech, all for the means of being able to do stand-up as a job one day.
That's awesome. That's really great.
Yeah.
Any plans on ever going back to your hometown?
No.
That's the right answer.
No. Oh my God. I look at the Facebooks of everyone I went to high school with, and it's just like a lot of pictures of babies, a lot of pictures of like home remodeling projects, and I think to them that's like the height of living, and to me that's the whatever the opposite of the height. That's the depths of hell for me.
Yeah, absolutely. That I will tell you, I'm one of those people who's always doing house projects, and it really is hell.
Do you own your house?
Yeah.
Oh. I tried to do our shower, that bar that holds your like towels into the wall. Mm-hmm. That's somehow like our bathroom. It got like dried out or rotted or something, and just fell off the wall one day. Yeah. And then I watched a YouTube video on how to like patch that up, and I made the hole bigger somehow.
It's not easy, dude. I'll tell you. I even have the retractable ones where you don't even have to screw it in. It just like clips in. I
Yeah.
still have trouble with even those ones. Doing house projects sucks because I'm dumb. That's the real reason.
Yeah, and I am very good at house that has been kind of a theme for because I live in a 100-year-old house here in the
Ooh.
Midwest.
Is it
Spooky.
haunted?
Not that apparently our neighbor's house is haunted.
It's haunted with the spirits of a lot of dead rodents.
Yeah, we had a little bit of a mice infestation this past winter, and
Ronny lived in New York. He's used to that.
That's true. He had rats.
That's true.
I had bed bugs, guys, if we're being specific.
That's true. That is, I think, the worst ones. But because it's such an old house, I have to like do repairs all the time. And we're finally getting to the point where we don't have to do them as often, but
That's a win right there.
It's also because I'm like very Midwestern of me and being like, I'm not going to pay someone to come do this. I can do this myself. And then my wife's like, you should have paid someone to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to pay
that's
someone
what I'm
to come
learning.
patch our holes.
Hire Christian. He'll do it.
Christian, please come.
One train ticket. I will be there in 3 weeks.
You get a seat and not a shower room.
Well, the worst part is, too, now it's a time crunch because you can't shower until you fix it.
Oh.
So,
You gotta hold your towel up to let it dry for a week. It's not good, guys. I hate. And like, I think like just like the whole suburban mindset to me is, I don't know. I don't understand it. Other people are wired for it. I am not. Like, I've always dreamt about not living in Connecticut, and I think my biggest nightmare is like watching from afar all of their social medias. And this is how
and seeing what they're doing, and
Yeah.
yeah, and you're just like, that is what normal life looks like, and it is so uncomfortable to me.
Yeah, no. Like,
Yeah.
I tried to take, before I left Connecticut, I tried to take an improv class there, and it was taught by this, like, gay MAGA guy, and I was just like, how do these two things go together? And his social media is just like, I love Trump and pride flags. And I was just like,
Yeah, like those don't work together.
He's like,
No.
make America hide in the closet again.
because that's fabulous.
Oh my god. Anyways, we're getting to the end of time here, so I wanted to ask you in regard to your career goals for stand-up, because Christian and I are huge stand-up fans. What is the ultimate goal? So I guess the reason I ask that is, are you solely right now just thinking, as long as I can make stand-up my full time, I'm good? Or do you have aspirations of like stand-up leading to something else?
Yeah, I mean, originally got into it because I wanted to be a writer on SNL, and I was like, the more you put yourself out there, I felt like stand-up was like an audition, if you will, of like, people will start to watch you. And my first like foray into comedy, like for real, was doing, I was like pretty big on Twitter because of, do you remember At Midnight?
Yeah.
And I did well on At Midnight a lot, and they would feature my tweets on air a lot. And yeah, and so like I was writing tweets a lot, and then when I started doing stand-up, I adapted that into telling one-line jokes. And there was an article a long time ago that said, I don't remember if it was Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon, one of the two hired their writers strictly off Twitter feed. And and so I was just like, let me just keep curating this. And then, because I wanted to just write. And then the more I started doing stand-up, though, the more I enjoyed doing stand-up more than, like, the idea of writing for someone else.
Sure, yeah.
And then, like, every year I do a little tour where I go to South Carolina, North Carolina, and Georgia and do a handful of shows. And to me, that's, like, I know those aren't, like, the most ideal places, but to me, that's, like,
towns.
Yeah, it's like my favorite week of the year. And like I just want to like, I think the goal for me, the big goal only, is to like figure out how to sustain being able to be a touring comedian.
Sure, yeah.
And like
how many shows are you
ask?
doing? How many shows are you doing on average right now?
I just slowed down, but I was doing like 2 shows a week. I think in 23 and 24 I did like 2 shows a week, and then like 10 open mics a week. And
Nice.
then, yeah, so some days you'd be like doing 2 or 3 of them. And then recently I slowed down so that I could start writing other weird stuff. Like I started writing like character sketches that I could start putting up soon.
Hell yeah.
And they're getting real dumb, but they're getting good reviews from people.
Yeah.
So those will be coming on the internet soon, eventually, I guess.
That's great.
That's really cool.
Where were you in LA? Because LA is ginormous, obviously, and
Yeah.
there's clearly no lack of places to do stand up.
Yeah.
But doing open mics in LA has always been something that I am terrified of, because at any given time you can walk in and like the first one that I was going to try to do, Stephen Fury walked in. And I was like, well, I'm not doing this. You know what I mean? So where were
Yeah.
you going to do open mics generally?
I mostly go to a place called Fourth Wall in Hollywood.
Yeah, we just passed that a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I like Fourth Wall. What I like about Fourth Wall, they're pretty welcoming, and it's like the same people all the time. So if you go regularly, you're going to make friends with them. And the best part of Fourth Wall is they have an open mic on the hour, every hour starting at 11 a.m.
Ooh.
Yeah, so you could
That's pretty
really
cool.
work. And then I do Flappers a lot in Burbank.
Flappers is great.
I like Flappers. Where else do I go? Every now and then I like pop in to do Comedy Store stuff, but I'm not like definitely not one of the people that are like, come back a lot. So they have a open mic called Potluck that you have to get invited to, and then I've done that a few times, and then I've done Roast Battle at the Comedy Store once.
Oh,
but
no
I'm-
shit.
Yeah, and I'm doing that again in end of July, I think.
Hell yeah. I'm going to go.
Nice.
Yeah, good.
I'm going to go watch that.
Yeah.
I'm going to go watch that.
It's gonna be a shit show, this one.
That's why I love roast battles.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so fun. And yeah,
That's
I think
great.
LA, what I like about LA, but what I liked better about New York, but LA still has, is you could do mics all day long if you want to. Where in LA, you could do like 3 or 4 in a day. New York, you could probably do like 10 in a day if you like structured your day well.
Yeah.
Not that I advise that, but you can.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to get around too. That's the hard part about LA. If you have a couple of different open mics, you're going from one edge of the city to the other one usually.
Yeah.
It'll take 10 hours.
Yeah.
It will. I think the trains here take longer than the Amtrak cross country. Like if I want to go from the northwest corner of LA to the southeast, it's going to take me 3 weeks.
Especially when your Kia Soul's being stolen all the time.
And you're like looking out the window on the train and you see your soul just puttering by.
Ronnie's like, I don't know what the big deal is with traffic. I mean, I just run the red lights and I get everywhere just fine.
Oh my God. Oh, that hurts my soul. Ugh.
Hurt your Kia soul.
Oh.
Right, everybody. This has been Remain Rome Return.
Yes.
Ronnie, tell the people where they can find you, and it's been a real fun episode, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, everywhere on social media at Ronny Pascale. So follow me. Instagram, YouTube, sometimes TikTok, sometimes Snapchat, sometimes Pornhub, whatever.
Backdoor.com.
Yeah,
You know where to find me.
backdoor.com. Yeah.
That is excellent. Well, it's been really fun, man. I'd
Yeah.
love to have you back on sometime.
of
All your
course.
links and stuff are going to be in the bio.
Sounds good.
Thanks for coming on, and yeah, best of luck with everything, dude.
Thank you guys so much. That was fun.
All right, man. Have a great day. We'll talk to you later.
Talk to you later.
Bye.